Hello and welcome to High Voltage Engineering. Today we'll be talking about conduction and breakdown in gases. This would be part 1 of module 1 and I am Dr. Debraj Sarkar. So we'll continue with our presentation. First we'll talk about gases as insulating media. Okay. The simplest and the most commonly found dielectrics are gases. Most of the electrical apparatuses use air as insulating medium, and in a few cases gases such as nitrogen, carbon dioxide and freon and sulfur hexafluoride are also used. We are always and we commonly take gas as an insulating medium, and we by default consider it to be an insulator. But we will come to know that the gases fail to become an insulator when it is facing some kind of constraints or some kind of voltage across it. Various phenomena occur in gaseous dielectric when a voltage is applied. When the applied voltage is low, small current flow between the electrodes and the insulations retain its electrical properties. On the other hand, if the applied voltage are large, the current flowing through the insulation increases very sharply and electrical breakdown occurs. We have seen electrical breakdown in our natural day-to-day life when we see sparks between two electrodes. No one can at least ignore the fact that they have seen lightning. Lightning strikes is an example of dielectric breakdown. That is, the air between the cloud and the ground, which was acting as a dielectric, now breaks down and allows current to pass through it. A strongly conducting spark formed during breakdown practically produces a short circuit between electrodes. The maximum voltage applied to the insulation and the moment of breakdown called the breakdown voltage. In order to understand the breakdown phenomena in gases, a study of electrical properties of gases and the process by which high current are produced in gases is essential. The electrical discharge in gases are of two types. One, the non-sustaining discharges, and two, self-sustaining types. The breakdown in a gas called a spark breakdown is the transition of a non-sustaining discharge into a self-sustaining discharge. The buildup of high currents in a breakdown is due to the process known as ionization, in which electrons and ions are created from neutral atoms or molecules, and their migration to the anode and cathode respectively leads to high currents. At present, two types of theories, that is Townsend's theory and streamer theory, are known, which explain the mechanism of breakdown under different conditions. The various physical conditions of gases, namely pressure, temperature, electrode field configuration, nature of electrode surfaces, and the availability of initial conducting particles are known to govern the ionization process. Now we'll talk about collisional process between the gas molecules. Now, what is collision? Collision is hitting of one particle to the other. Here we are talking about gas molecules and how this collision of gas molecules create ionizations in the gas molecules. Why ionizations are important? Because these are the ionization that creates path of current flow from one electrode to the other through the gas molecules. Now we'll talk about collisional processes. Types of collision. An electrical discharge is normally created from ionized gases by collision process. These processes are mainly gas processes which occur due to the collision between the charged particle and the gas atoms or molecules. These are of the following types. We have elastic collision and inelastic collision. I think you are aware of inelastic and elastic collisions. Elastic collisions are collisions which, when occur, no change takes place in the internal energy of the particles, but only their kinetic energy gets redistributed. These collisions do not occur in practice. When electrons collide with gas molecules, a single electron traces a zigzag path during its travel. But in between the collision, it is accelerated by the electric field. Since electrons are very light in weight, they transfer only a part of their kinetic energy to the much heavier ions or gas molecules with which they collide. This results in a very little loss of energy by the electrons, and therefore the electrons gain a very high energies and travel at a much higher speed than the ions. Therefore, in all electrical discharges, the electrons play a leading role. Now we will talk about inelastic collisions. Inelastic collisions, on the other hand, are those in which the internal charges in the energy takes place within an atom or a molecule at the expense of total kinetic energy of the colliding particle. The collision often results in a change in structure of the atom. Thus, all collisions that occur in practice are inelastic collision. For example, ionization, attachment, excitement, recombination, and elastic collisions. So we have learned here the processes that creates ionization through collision are inelastic collision, and they are not the elastic collision. Elastic collision is an ideal condition, but in practice what we experience is inelastic collisions. Next we will talk about ionization process. A gas in its normal state is almost a perfect insulator. However, when a high voltage is applied between the two electrodes immersed in a gaseous medium, the gas becomes a conductor and the electrical breakdown occurs. The processes that are primarily responsible for the breakdown of gases are ionization by collision, photoionization, and the secondary ionization process. In insulating gases, also called electron attaching gases, the process of attachment also plays an important role. So here we see that there are three types of ionization processes. One via collision that we have already seen, which is an inelastic one. One via photons from the light called the photoionization, and the other is the secondary ionization. Now in the coming slides we are going to see each and every one of them. We talk about ionization by collision. The process of liberating an electron from a gas molecule with the simultaneous production of positive ion is called ionization. In the process of ionization by collision, free electron collides with a neutral gas molecule and gives rise to new electron and positive ion. If we consider a low pressure gas column in which an electric field with capital E is applied across two planes of electrodes as shown in the figure, you can see there are two electrodes and a voltage is applied between this electrode. We have a cathode and we have an anode. Okay, so in this case, any electron starting at the cathode will be accelerated more and more between collisions with other gaseous molecule during its travel towards the anode. If the energy epsilon gained during this travel between the collisions exceeds the ionization potential, that is Vi, which is the energy required to dislodge an electron from its atomic shell, then the ionization takes place. Okay, you can see here is the equation where an electron is added to an atom, and if the voltage, the energy applied to the electron is more than the ionization potential, then we have an electron and an ion and an electron obtained from the atom. Few of the electrons produced at the cathode by some external means, say by ultraviolet light falling on the cathode, ionize neutral gas particles producing positive ions and additional electrons. The additional electrons then themselves make ionization collisions, and thus the process repeats itself. This represents an increase in electron current, since the number of electrons reaching the anode per unit time is greater than those liberated at the cathode. In addition, the positive ions also reach the cathode, and on bombardment on the cathode gives rise to secondary electrons. Now we will talk about photoionization. The phenomena associated with ionization by radiation or photoionization involves the interaction of radiation with matter. Photoionization occurs when the amount of radiation energy absorbed by an atom or molecule exceeds its ionization potential. There are several processes by which the radiation can be absorbed by atom or molecules. They are excitation of atom to a high energy state, and B, continuous absorption by direct excitation of the atom or dissociation of atomic molecule or direct ionization, etc. Just as an excited atom emits radiation when the electron returns to the lower state or to the ground state, the reverse process takes place when an atom absorbs radiation. This reversible process can be expressed as H nu plus A give an A star. That is, the H, which is the Planck's constant, is the H nu represents the energy of the photon that creates an excited atom. The ionization occurs only when this condition is met, that is, lambda is less than C into H by Vi, where H is the Planck's constant, C is the velocity of light, lambda is the wavelength of the incident radiation, and Vi, as we have seen, is the ionization energy of the atom. Substituting for H and C, we get lambda less than 1.27 divided by Vi into 10 to the power minus 6 centimeters. where Vi is the electron is in electron volts, eV. The higher the ionization energy, the shorter will be the wavelength of the radiation capable of causing ionization. It was observed experimentally that the radiation having a wavelength of 1250 Armstrong is capable of causing photoionization for almost all gases. Okay, so this is the end of this lecture. We will be talking about secondary ionization process in the next class. Thank you so much.